Are listen then speak questions bringing down your DET score? If so, let me help. In this video, we're going to look at a listen then speak question. I'll give you a 160 level answer, and I'll even show you step by step by step how to read it in perfect English. Sound good? Let's get started. Hello, I'm Francis from Last Minute English. Now, hundreds of students have taken my DET preparation course, and so I know exactly what you need to do to get a really high score on the DET, and in particular on Listen Then Speak. But before we start looking at that 160 level answer, let's do a quick review of what Listen Then Speak is all about. So it's pretty simple. You'll get an audio when you come to Listen Then Speak question. You'll hear it once automatically, and that's the question. So you'll listen carefully to it, and then you have 20 seconds to either think about it or you can listen twice more. So in total, you can listen 3 times. 20 seconds to listen and to think, to make your plans, and then you speak for up to 90 seconds. Now, Listen Then Speak comes twice in the DET, and it counts towards your conversation and production subscores. Now, we have lots of videos where we talk about the step-by-step strategy, different things you can include, things like that. Here's a very quick strategy, just 4 steps so that we can quickly get on to the full answer. So first of all, you focus on the details of the question. You use the preparation time to plan your answer. You structure your response. That means you organize it well. So you have the topic of the question, some examples, some points, and then a conclusion, and maybe an extension at the end if you want to keep talking. And you aim for a clear and natural delivery. That's the way that you say it. So first we're going to listen to the audio of the question that we're working on, okay? So we're going to hear it 3 times in the 20 seconds. And I want you to listen for 2 things. I want you to listen for the main topic, like what is this question about in general, and what are these specific aspects, like what exactly do you have to talk about, okay? So let's have a listen. You'll hear it 3 times, starting now. Talk about a time when you felt really proud of yourself. What happened and what made you feel that way? Talk about a time when you felt really proud of yourself. What happened and what made you feel that way? Talk about a time when you felt really proud of yourself. What happened and what made you feel that way? Okay, so there we go. Hopefully you got the general idea, which is talking about a time that you felt proud. And then the specific things that you have to do, you have to say what happened, so you're telling a story, and then what made you feel that way, so why were you proud? So we can think about it as what happened, why were you proud? So you might make a little plan in your head in the 20 seconds, something like this. So you could say, a time I felt proud was I passed a difficult exam. What happened? I needed to pass this exam to go to my chosen university. I studied hard and then I succeeded. And then why was I proud? Because my efforts had paid off and it helped my future. I'd done something difficult and done it successfully. Now remember, of course, you only have 20 seconds, so it's really good to practice these questions a lot because you're doing 2 important things in the 20 seconds. You're listening and you're planning it in your head. Of course, you can't write things down because taking notes is not allowed in the DET. But if you do practice these questions, you will develop that ability to listen and plan at the same time. And speaking of lots of practice, make sure that if you're enjoying this video, you like and subscribe because we have loads more DET practice questions, vocabulary questions, speak with me questions, and all kinds of other things coming out all the time. So let's get started with the answer then. So I'm going to show you the first part of my answer. I want you to pause the video and I want you to read it. And I just want you to see if you can notice what's missing. There's something very important that I've missed from this couple of sentences, okay? So have a look, just pause, figure out what's missing. Have a try now. Okay, so you might have noticed that a lot of the language is pretty good, but we've missed actually talking about being proud. We don't say that word proud or maybe pride or anything related to that. So that's a bit of a problem. It's really important in your first few sentences that you mention the topic of your answer. So you repeat those key words from the question. So we could say something like, I felt very proud, which is okay, but we can do even better than that. So if you want to get a really high score, a level 160, you could say something like this. As you can imagine, I was extremely proud that my efforts had paid off. So this is much better because it's a little bit more complicated than just saying I was proud or I felt proud. And a couple of nice things that we've included the word extremely, which is an adverb that emphasizes our feeling, extremely. And then also we've included a phrasal verb, which is where you put two words together and it makes a verb, and that's paid off. So words like that don't look very important. They're not long words, but they're actually a really high-level type of phrase. And if you can use some phrasal verbs like paid off, that's really going to boost your score. By the way, if you are preparing for the DET and you want to make sure you get a really high score the first time you take it, a score of 120 or even higher, make sure you check out our DET preparation course. We have hundreds of students who are all getting really good improvement on their score. So if you're interested, check the link, it's here under the video. So that's what the answer looks like, but now we're going to focus on actually saying that answer together. And when we're doing this, there's a few things that I want you to pay attention to. So the first one is the tone that we use. So tone is like showing some emotion when you're speaking. And related to that is intonation, and that's how your voice goes up and down. Also think about the speed. So not speaking very fast, but also not speaking too slowly. You want to be somewhere in the middle, and it's good after commas or after the end of the sentence to leave a short pause. So make sure you listen for that when I'm speaking. And then finally, stress. Certain words are very important, so we stress them. We put emphasis on them. And what you'll be able to notice in my answer is that with some of the words, we're going to stress them, and you can see which ones they are. Those are important words. And then other words, we're going to say them like quite quickly. Not too quickly. We still need to pronounce them, but they're not such important words, so we can go through a little bit quicker than normal. Now, something very important here, as I'm reading through my answer, I want you to read with me. So I'll read each sentence once, and then I'll leave a short pause like this. I won't do this face. I'll just look at you. And then in that time, I want you to pause the video and try reading as I've read. And don't just say what I said, think about how I say it as well. So let's have a try. So, first sentence. When I think about this topic, what comes to mind is the time I passed a really tough university entrance exam. Okay, now it's your turn. I'll do the face. All right, very good. Very good. I hope you paused it while my face was like that. So, remember, after each sentence, I leave a pause, you stop the video, you say it yourself. Next sentence. It's known to be very competitive, and someone had told me that only 40% of candidates get a passing grade. Good. When I finally opened that email on results day, I saw that I had done it. As you can imagine, I was extremely proud that my efforts had paid off. Okay, very good. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, make sure to like and subscribe because we've got loads more videos like this coming out in the future. So we've introduced the topic now. We've kind of given a general idea of what our answer is going to be about. We're going to move to the next part, and that is giving some specific examples. So here is my answer. This time there's nothing missing. It's actually pretty good. But there are 3 points that I want you to notice. The first one is that we're using advanced expressions to give examples. And here, a case in point. That's just like saying, for example, but it's a much higher way of saying, for example. By the way, if you want a lot more of these sorts of short sentences and vocabulary that you can learn, we've got loads of videos like this as well. Just look for our 25 sentences for 160 videos. That's exactly the kind of thing that we cover. We also here have some great linking expressions to connect your ideas together to improve your organization. For example, once I'd I blah, blah, blah. So it means like after I'd done something. And we have some relevant and high-level vocabulary, so words like dedicated. So let's practice saying this one together. Again, sentence by sentence, you're going to take part. Let's begin. It had been about 6 months since I decided to take the exam, and my life had been dedicated to it that whole time. A case in point was when I missed a friend's 18th birthday party because I needed to study. Once I'd finally sat the exam, I felt fairly confident, but it wasn't until results day that I was able to relax and enjoy my success. Okay, very good. The other part of the question that we have to answer is why we felt proud. So here's my answer for this section. And this is really good because it includes language for reflecting, like thinking deeply about the past. Saying things like, when I look back, and then you say what your thoughts were. We've also got some high-level adjectives. We've got words like encouraging and overjoyed. And we've done something very nice, which is not just using the word proud, 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 proud. We've rephrased it a little bit, but still in the same family of words, we've used a sense of pride. I felt a sense of pride. It gave me a sense of pride. So if you're able to do that, to play a little bit with the words in the question, those key words, that's a really high-level way of showing your English. Now for this part, I'm going to give you a little challenge, okay? So I'm going to put my answer, organized as I say it, onto the screen. And I want you to have a try of following it and reading it without hearing me first, okay? Then after you've done that, I'll go through it sentence by sentence. But first, you're going to have a try, all right? So I'm going to show it to you on the screen. You can pause the video and try reading through it and just do your best. Okay, how was that? So let's have a little try together then. Again, sentence by sentence by sentence. And by the way, if you're finding this video useful, I think it's a really good idea to save this video and then you can come back to it in the future and you'll be able to continue practicing. And this is really good not just for your DET, I mean, it's useful for the DET, but it's also useful in the long term to improve your English fluency, your English pronunciation, making your English sound much more natural, okay? So make sure you save it as well. Anyway, let's get through the first sentence. As far as I'm concerned, achieving something big like this can make anyone feel a sense of pride. I knew that I deserved my passing grade and immediately started to look forward to what the future would hold. When I look back, I really enjoyed receiving so many encouraging messages from my friends and family too. They all sounded overjoyed for me. Okay, very good. So we've gone through the main parts of our answer, but let's imagine that there's a little bit of time left. We want to add 1 or 2 more sentences. We're going to add these ones, and we're just going to go and read through them straight away. Okay, so weighing everything up, it was a really proud moment that I'll always remember. Okay, very good. And then the second one, this is one final thought just to fill the last few seconds. We could say, Lastly, I wanted to add that I'm now studying at that university, and the effort was totally worth it. Okay, very good. Now, it's important to remember that you don't have to add those last few. Those are just useful phrases if you, let's say you're at 60 seconds, you know you have another 30 seconds of speaking time left. You don't want to leave such an empty time. You want to keep going, maybe getting to 70 or 75 seconds. That's a pretty good time. You don't have to get all the way to 90 seconds. But if you stop at 60, it's not great. So try to get to at least 75. And those are a couple of good sentences that you can use to help you on the way. So we've been through the full answer together. This would be a 160 level answer in Listen Then Speak. I'm just going to show it to you here on the screen. So if you want to pause and take a screenshot or whatever, that's fine. And we also have it available for free, totally for free, on our website. And you can find the link just here under the video. We have the full answer there. And we have the audios as well, so that you can listen to me speaking and you can follow me as many times as you want. So make sure you check that out if you want to keep improving your performance. So if you're still with me, you're doing very well. We're coming to the end of the video now, but I've got a little bit of homework for you, because we've looked at one answer that can get you a really good score. And there's lots of good sentences and good vocabulary there. But I've got another video for you that's really, really useful for improving your sentences and your vocabulary for both Listen Then Speak and Read Then Speak. The link is just here, or you can check here under the video. And that's 25 really high-level sentences that you can use for any question, for any topic. Okay, so make sure you check that out. If you found this video useful, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm Francis from Last Minute English. Thank you very much for watching. Good luck in your DET, and I'll see you next time.